Welcome back, fourth grade friends. Today we are going to go ahead and continue our mathematical knowledge around mixed number measurement conversions to a smaller unit with lesson 13 from module 7. Again, my name is Mrs. Day and I am the math coach over at James Marlowe Elementary School. Looking forward to facilitating our learning today. Here is our learning goal. I can convert mixed number measurements to smaller units. Let's see what materials we need. We do need our Eureka Math learning books for lesson 13 problem set. If you don't have it, that's not a problem because we have everything you need in our presentation today. But you will need some paper or math journal to take notes with and to solve problems if you don't have your learn book. Or even if you do have your learn book, I would like you to have some paper or your math journal in order to take those notes. You need a writing utensil. I prefer a pencil, but you can take whatever you need to be able to write with. And of course, your mathematical brain. Go ahead and pause the video. Make sure you have all the materials you need. And as soon as you're ready to go, please push play and we'll get started. Alrighty, you have all your materials. Let's go ahead and get started on today's lesson. Okay, so we have a reference, we have a picture of part of the reference sheet that you guys would be using in the classroom, but I only took a portion of it. Here is the portion we're going to need for today. Let's go ahead, before looking at problem 1A in your problem set, I want to ask a few questions first. My first question is, how many pounds, I have 1 pound. How many ounces are in a pound? Great job. It is definitely 16. Wonderful job. Let's go ahead and make a tape diagram, just like we did in lesson 12, of 1 pound. When you make your tape diagram, please make sure you do it in your notebook or on paper because you need to make your tape diagram as long as you can, due to the fact that we want to make sure that we're going to when we partition it in big enough pieces where we're going to be able to see them. Sometimes students make their tape diagrams too small, and then they're trying to squeeze all those pieces in there. So if you just go ahead and make your tape diagram large, then we won't have to squeeze and we'll be able to see all your sections. All right, so I have my tape diagram. What are we going to label this tape diagram as? You're right. I'm going to label it as 1 pound, and I'm going to make the LB, which is the abbreviation for pound, smaller so you can tell the difference between the 1 and the L. So we have 1 pound. That is our whole. Our whole is 1 pound. If I'm going to make smaller units, I want to make smaller units of ounces. How many times do I need to partition this? So how many ounces are in that pound? You already told me that there's 16. Perfect. Go ahead and draw out your 16 partitions as evenly as you can, but I know that it's a little bit difficult. If you need to pause the video to do this, you may, and then push play when you're ready. All right, we're almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's 11 and 12. Okay, I thought I missed one, but I wanted to make sure. 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's my 16 partitioned pieces. And what do we say they represent? Awesome. They represent 1 ounce. 1 OZ is the abbreviation for ounce. There we go. Great, great job. All right. Looking at problem 1A at the top here, or on the top left here, it says 1/16 pound equals to how many ounces? I need to know how to complete that number sentence. You guys are telling me that it's 1 ounce. I'm going to make sure by, I'm going to shade this 1/16 in. And you're right, it is 1 ounce. What if I shaded in, say, 2/16? How many ounces? Great job, 2 ounces. What about 3? Awesome job. Yes, 3 ounces. What if I decided to do this? How many ounces with this one? So I shaded in 7, so 7/16. How many ounces? 7. Great job. Let's go ahead and try a new problem. So you notice that I have on here my tape diagram and my number line. Please go ahead and pause the video, and I'd like you, if you don't have it in your book, because you will, if you have your book, it shows it in there, but you may want to draw this in your notebook in order to help solve some of these problems. So go ahead and push pause, and then go ahead and draw this in your notebook, and we're going to talk about the next problem when you come back. All right, great. Great job. Now, this one, I want to find out the number of ounces equal to 1/2 pound. But wait, I don't see any pound labels. What's what? I don't understand. Oh, that's right. 16 ounces equals a pound. So this tape diagram here, right here, equals my 1 full pound. And remember, LB is the abbreviation for pound. But I don't want to know the full pound. We already did that. I want to know what's 1/2 pound. How many ounces is in 1/2 pound? Or where can I partition my 1/2 pound? That's great. You guys already knew that I needed to partition right here because 1/2 of 16 is 8. So here's, this side would be 1/2 pound. This side would be 1/2 pound. So what would my fraction be for 1/2 pound? So if I were to shade in this half here, what would my fraction be? Perfect, 8/16 of a pound. Now I want to talk in ounces. How many ounces is that? Of course, it's 8. So right here we see 8/16 pound equals 1/2 pound, which happens to be equivalent fraction. That means it's got 2 names. That means that we can say it's 8/16 or we could say it's 1/2, but it's going to be the same amount. And now we can also say it's 8 ounces because we changed it to a smaller unit. I want you to try one. I'd like you to try 1/4 pound. How many ounces, what is the fraction of the pounds and how many ounces is 1/4 pound? Go ahead and pause the video, solve your problem, and when you come back, we'll go through it. Great job, guys. Let's see how you do. We already know that this is the 1 pound. So I'm going to label this 1 pound. I now need to divide this 1 pound not into 16 pieces, but how many pieces did you divide yours into? That's right, 4. So I need to figure out where do I partition for 4? Looking at 16, I know I have 16 and I only need 4 pieces. I know that 4 times 4 is 16, so I know I need to divide it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here. So now I have 1 piece here, 1 piece here, 1 piece here, and 1 piece here. So how many, if I want only 1/4 of this, so I'm only talking about this section here, what fraction, if I kept it in the sixteenths, what equivalent fraction can I also name this 1/4 pound? Awesome job. I can name it 4/16 of a pound. It's also known as 1/4 of a pound. How many ounces? Because it's also going to equal how many ounces? Amazing. Kiss your brain. 4 ounces. You've got this. Great job. Let's move on. If you have questions about this, because this is day 2 of what we're doing with our tape diagrams, if you're still struggling, please make sure you reach out to your teacher in order to make sure you have clear, you know how you can reach out to your teacher with any questions that you have. So now let's go ahead and move on. We're not going to use that one. Oh my. Now we have time. Oh my goodness. How many minutes are in 1 hour? Oh, well, we know that. I didn't put the reference sheet up there, but I'm pretty sure we know that. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Great job. 60 minutes. So that means if I start right here and go all the way around, I've gone 1 hour in time. I've also gone 60 minutes in time. So if I were to count every one of these dashes, there's going to be 60 of them there. Okay? You have seen clocks like this in your classroom. This is also around, kind of like a number line, but we also can see a clock as a horizontal number line. So if we look here, we can see that we broke this up into 1 big hour, and then we have all of our dashes. We kind of shook it to a straight line, and now we have 60 minutes. So there's two different ways you can use your number line when working with time. So let's go ahead. We're going to use both tools so you can see the difference to answer this question. Blank 60 hours of an hour, blank 60 of an hour equals a half hour, which equals how many minutes? And I'm sure you all are shouting out the answer right now because y'all are so smart. But let's go ahead. I like when I'm looking at the clock to kind of partition it. I can see that I partition it right in half like this. I know that this half, there's a half here and there's a half here. So I also know what half of 60 is. So you can think about what half of 60 is. Or if you don't, that's okay. You can count all your little dashes here. And what did you come up with? Amazing. You came up with 30/60th of an hour. We can also call that a half hour, which is what you normally hear. Or how many minutes is that? You are absolutely right. 30 minutes. You can also see that on the number line. This one's a little more difficult for me. I like to look at time as a round number line, but you can see it as a horizontal number line. So we have the same, it's going to be the same answers. We have 30 because we know that in a half hour there's 30 minutes. We have our equivalent fractions here, 30/60th of an hour or a half of an hour. So we can look at this number line and we can see that it's partitioned right here for that half. To me, the round one is a little bit easier, but some people like the horizontal number line, which is fine as well. Whatever tool is going to help you succeed is the tool you want to use. All right. I want you guys to try this one. So you can either use this or you can use this. I'm going to leave it on here like this for right now because you can see the 60-minute horizontal in your notebook if you have it written in there already, or your Learn book. And I want you to tell me 1/4 of an hour. How many minutes is 1/4 of an hour? Go ahead and pause the video, fill it out, figure it out in fraction form of minutes of the hour. and how many minutes there are, and go ahead, pause, figure it out, and then bring it right back. All right, let's see how you did. I know you got this. You rocked it. So when I break this one up, I'm going to break it up into half. And that's only 2 pieces, right? And how many pieces do I need? The denominator tells me I need 4. So I need to break it up in half again. All right, so now I have 1 piece, 2, 3, and 4. Awesome. I'm only concerned with 1/4 of this piece. So I shaded that 1/4 of piece in because that's all I'm concerned about, because that's what this here tells me. How many pieces have I shaded in out of the 60? Well, there's a couple ways I can think about it. I can count these. I can divide 60 into 4 because that's what I did. I took 60 minutes and I partitioned it into 4 pieces. So then I can go ahead and say, okay, how much is in each piece? And that's a division problem. So I could divide. So whichever way that you chose to do it, what number did you come up with? Great. You came up with 15 of the 60, so 15/60ths of an hour, which is equivalent to 1/4 of an hour. So how many minutes is 1/4 of an hour? Amazing, 15 minutes. You could have done the same thing with this number line, the horizontal number line. To me, it's not as easy to see where to partition. So I would have to probably do a little more hard thinking to see, but once we've done that on the different page, I now know that it's 15, 30, and then 45, and then 60. So I'm only concerned with this section here, and I can easily see that it was 15. I'm going to take 15 pieces, or 15, I have 15 pieces in one. I'm sorry, this is supposed to say 1/4 of an hour. Fix that. 1/4 of an hour. So 15/60ths and 1/4 are equivalent fraction, which makes me 15 minutes. What if I said, let's go ahead and challenge ourselves real quick since we have this here. What if I said blank 60th hour equals 3/4 hour equals how many minutes? Let's challenge ourselves here. Go ahead and pause. Figure that out. And you can do that with the number line that's right there on the screen. And then you guys go ahead and unpause when you're done, and we'll give us an answer. All right. So now I'm not talking about just this section. I really want to know what this long section is. This is what I'm talking. I'm talking here, shading this. I'm going to shade this section, and I'm shading this section. So if I wanted to see it on the circle clock, this is what I would be shading in. Okay, for that problem. So how, oh, I went the wrong way. I'm like, where'd my little drawings go? Okay, there it is. So how many 60ths did we shade in? We shaded in 45, which is 3/4 of an hour. So here's our equivalent. So how many minutes is that? Absolutely. Another amazing job. 45 minutes. Congratulations. See what we have next. Oh my, we have our problem set. Okay, you have 3 problems to do. Opening up to your problem set where it said lesson 13, problem set 4.7. If you don't have your book, again, not an issue. You can pause. You need to write down these 3 problems. Blank 16th pound equals 3/4 of a pound equals blank ounces. blank 16 pounds equals 3/8 pound equals blank ounces, and 3 3/8 pounds equals how many ounces. So go ahead and pause, write those down, figure them out using your tape diagrams in order to help you. And then when you come back, we'll go ahead and release the answers. Let's see how you did. Looking at number 1D, I have my tape diagram down here that you guys could have used in yours. I have blank 16ths of a pound. Well, where is my pound? You guys would have labeled your pound right here. So this is going to refer, my whole is referring to 1 pound. Okay, so here's my 1 pound. We know that there's 16 ounces in a pound. I want 3/4 of a pound. Well, I know this was half is 8. So that means I also know that 4 times 4 is 16. So it would be divided here. I want 3/4. So I need this section. That's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. So I shaded in 3 out of the 4 pieces. I divided them into 2. And now I look, I could count or I could look at my number line and I notice that it's 12/16 of a pound, which is equivalent to 3/4 of a pound, which now is equivalent to 12 ounces. Whoop, whoop. Great job. Kiss your brain. All right. Looking at F. Blank 16th of a pound equals 3/8 pound. So now I got to think, how many 8s are in 16? Well, that's 2. I know that 8 times 2 is 16. But I want to label my pound first. There we go. And every 2, and then I should have 8 sections. So I'm going to partition every 2. And then I'm going to count and make sure I have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do. Great. So now how many 8s am I going to shade in? 3. So there's 1/8. Here's another 8. And here's my other 8th. So I have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Okay. Now, how many ounces, how many of the 16ths did I shade in? Well, I can count my boxes, or I can look at my number line and notice that I did 6/16 of a pound, which then equals or is equivalent to 3/8 of a pound. And how many ounces are there? Great job. 6 ounces. Amazing. You can pause at any time if I'm going too fast, remember. Or you can rewind and go back to the problem. All right, this one looks a little different. 5B. I have 3 3/8 of a pound. And how many ounces? Ooh, so this little diagram here that I have here isn't going to help me. So I don't want to do this one. I put it up here thinking it was going to help me just so I'd have it, and it's not. So I want to show 3 pounds and 3/8. So I'm going to draw my tape diagram here. And this time I'm going to label it 4. Does anybody remember why I want to label it 4 pounds? And not 3 3/8 pound? That's right. I want to show 4 pounds, all 4 pounds, but I'm only going to shade in 3 3/8. So I need, in order for me to do this, I'm going to have to partition it into my 4, each pound. I need to show the 4 different pounds. So this is 1 pound. This is a pound, pound, and pound. Well, I know that there's how many ounces in each pound? 16. So this one I know there's already 16 ounces. I know this one has 16 ounces. And I know this one has 16 ounces. So I know there's my 3 pounds. I chose to write the numbers instead of partitioning because this is where it might get a little crazy and I might not draw them correctly. So I only want to partition this last one so I can be able to do it right. So there's 16. Well, maybe I can use this down here. Now I can use this one for only the 1 pound I have left. So let me erase my little X's here. Okay. And then let me go ahead and use this. Oh, not the laser pointer, even though that was kind of cool. Let me use this. So this is going to be here. This is where I'm going to partition it so I can get a bird's eye view. So I have 3, which I've taken care of right here. Here's my 3. And let's go ahead and do 3 times 16. Or you could say 16 plus 16 plus 16, because we're going to have to figure out how many ounces that is. And down here is where we're going to figure out how many ounces, and then we're going to put that. We know it's 16 ounces, but how many do we need? All right, so we have 16, and I only want 8s. So if I remember from before, I need to partition this where I only have 8 pieces, and that meant there was only 2 in each, because 8 times 2 is 16. All right, so hopefully you guys had done that. Or you probably did it up here, which is amazing. All right, how many ounces? I need 3/8 of that pound. So here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. How many ounces was 3/8? Is 6 ounces. So I'm going to add my 6 ounces here. So 3 times 16, oh, I have to do that over here because I don't know that at the top of my head. All right, 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 110 is 30. Now I add them together and I have 48. So now I have 48 plus the 6. All right, 8 plus 6, 48 plus 6. So if I take 2 from here, that gives me 50 plus the 4. So it's going to be 54 ounces. All right, again, if you have any questions, please make sure you contact your teacher, because this is important for you guys to understand. These are 2 days that we have been working with this. If this is where you are still a little bit lost or need a little bit of extra practice, please contact your teacher so you're going to be able to get that for you. Now, what's next? You guys did an amazing job today. I'm sure you guys have learned a lot. I'm sure you guys have practiced a lot, and you guys persevered through everything. Great job today. Your next step is to go ahead and do some Zern for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then I will see you soon, okay? I am doing the next lesson of lesson 14, and we get to use all the knowledge that we have in order to solve word problems. It's going to be exciting stuff. I'll see you later.